I'm my brother's keeper. I'm my sister's guide. Standing here together with nothing left to hide. We lift each other up when the world feels torn apart. We're keepers of the flame. We're the healers of the heart.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to My Other's Keeper. I am just, if I were any happier, I'd have to be two people. Just, oh, wow. So we've got some new people that I don't know. My guess is that they're from Echo's channel. But we have Kathy. We have Ex Visanti. I don't know how to say your name, my friend, but hello, glad to see you here. I Cherish Church Network. Good to see you.
I recognize that name. Hi, I Cherish. I don't know about the
Okay, awesome. We have Indigo and we have Crystal. They're in the background here with us today. And Exvixity. Okay. Exvixity. I'll remember that. Tina Mosho. Good evening. Yes, glad you're here. Anyway, I'm trying to the crap with PC. If the W is a with, I don't know what it is. But I'm sorry. I'm just having fun looking at the names.
I know.
These are very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Echo, it has been a very long time since we've actually been able to talk.
Yeah.
So, how you been?
I've been wonderful.
Good.
I am doing a lot of healing my inner child work, and it has changed my life.
Oh, wow.
It is totally answering questions that I've had for years that I just felt a certain kind of way about a certain thing, but I didn't really know why.
Yep.
And I've made decisions in my life that I wouldn't make now. I'll put it that way. It's like when I start to understand things better, it's like I really think I would make different choices.
Okay. Howdy from Joan Junk.
Joan's Junk Journals.
Okay,
yeah, that's
great.
another one that a friend that we know.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. All right. So yeah, it's doing work on your inner child. As much as I like to put on a brave face, that mask that everybody wears, I have not done enough inner work, I don't think. And when I say not enough, I mean, how do I put this without making myself sound like an absolute idiot? No, I'll sound like an idiot. I tend to, hey, Brian, I tend to even mask at, say, a therapist's office, even when I don't realize I'm masking, because it is just so ingrained, just it's part of my DNA to simply, literally forget the bad and put on a good face. And then I get tired. And then things like the last few months happened where, like, end of May, my husband and I went to Quebec City. It was a wonderful trip. Basically, that was our anniversary kind of celebration. And I just was exhausted, mentally exhausted from that, just because it was so much going on. And my body tends to break down very quickly. And then right after we got home, like I think the week after we got home, one of my best friends that I grew up with, she died of cancer. And again, that was just a major blow to me. So again, my body's like, no, you need to sleep. So, and I have been sleeping, it seems like continuously since June, and I'm like, okay, wait, today I'm going to do it. I'm going to come back, but I'm going to change my schedule. So I will only be doing one live a week. I'll be
Okay.
doing Thursday evenings, like today, at
Mm-hmm.
5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Okay.
And that's going to be when I'm going to go on, just because it's an easier time of day for me to be awake.
Mm-hmm.
And once a week is less stressful than trying to make sure that I have people lined up, and it's just less pressure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm glad you brought up about the mask, because that's what I kind of learned last week.
Yeah.
Um, I have a sister that's 2 years older than me,
Mm-hmm.
and she has, as anybody would, her own memories of things that
Mm-hmm.
have happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, we have a really easy conversation about things, and then sometimes we don't. But every
Mm-hmm.
time we have a conversation about it, we discover something else, either about ourselves or about each other. And one of the things that I had realized, that I masked so well that
Mm-hmm.
I believed the mask.
Same. That's
And
exactly the same.
I had said to my sister, I said, if anybody had asked anybody who knew me as a child, they would say, well, she was always a happy child, always smiling and well behaved and blah, 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 blah. And my sister's like, yeah, almost to the fact like you're goofy sometimes, and I'm like,
Oh my.
okay, I can see that, like sometimes when you're trying so hard to cover up
Yes.
something, you overcompensate,
Yep. Absolutely.
but it was really interesting, because before we had that conversation, I had come to that realization, that I needed to really start being honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And as I discover things, whether I like what I'm discovering or not, I need to be honest that that's part of who I
Right.
am.
Right.
So if we had had that conversation even 6 months ago, that would have been a critical wound to me, that she thought I
Mm.
was goofy sometimes as a kid. But now it's
Yeah.
like, I can see that. I understand that now. And so it's really making a difference that I don't just automatically react to something as, they're hurting my
Yes.
feelings. They're
Yes.
being critical of me. They're judging me. And that's some of the thing that I had the most trouble with as an adult, is
Mm-hmm.
that I would take everything to heart. And somebody
Mm.
could say something in passing and not even give it another thought, and I would be
Exactly.
wounded, you know?
Yes.
And it's like, oh, how could they say that? And that's one reason I don't like text messages, because you can't tell the person's emotion or expression
Yep.
or anything. And I'm very easy to take words wrong,
Mm.
like, well, what did
Mm-hmm.
that mean? Why did they say it that way or whatever? Hello,
Yeah.
awakened. Welcome.
Hey,
So I
Misha,
really,
I'm so glad you're here. And Joel, glad you could join us, even if just for a little while. That's
hello,
awesome.
Joel.
Good to see you.
Oops. Joel McKenzie. Good.
Yeah, I agree. For me, and from what I understand, for a lot of people, maybe not everybody, but for a lot of people who have ADHD, they have something in their DNA that fears rejection or just assumes rejection.
Rejection. Mm-hmm.
You are going to reject me, therefore everything you say to me or about me is actually kind of only half a compliment, or beyond that compliment is going to be a criticism somewhere I just haven't seen it yet.
Right.
Just
What
yeah.
did you really mean when you said that? It sounded like a compliment for a second, and then I was
Yeah.
examining it to see. Hello,
Yes.
Austin. Welcome.
Hi,
Um,
Austin.
and another thing that my sister and I talked about, she jokingly said that she's a little OCD. Okay.
Oh, yep.
And I was like, huh, interesting, because I'd never thought of myself as being OCD, but I am very much a control person.
Yep.
I
Yep.
like things the way I like things, you know.
Yes.
And so I
And
did do
that's
some looking into that issue to see if you've been somebody who's had some childhood trauma or something. Is there
mhm.
a connection with developing OCD? And there actually is. And that's what it
Yep.
is the control.
Yes.
Even though I want to control things, I never looked at why I want to control
Yep.
them. But it's because of anxiety. Things
Yep.
are not good if it's not just so. That is
Absolutely.
definitely OCD. So my sister and
Yep.
I are both like, we never really, and the way she figured it out was her and her husband, they live in Florida, but they went to Washington State on vacation,
Mhm.
and they had
Mhm.
rented like an Airbnb type thing. And
Mhm.
the silverware was not silverware that they're used to. I don't know what that means exactly.
Oh, okay.
But she said, I could either use that silverware and let it bother me, or I could go on Amazon and pay $20 to have a set of silverware delivered here. And so
Yep.
she did. So
Yep.
she's comfortable with the silverware. And I was like, now see, I could accept doing things like that to make my anxiety less, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
why put yourself through that if you don't have to? If it's something you
Right.
can correct very easily and inexpensively. But I had
Yeah.
never thought about that before. I had just thought about being in situations where I was like having anxiety, but I didn't want to think about anxiety. So I would just be like, I'm out of control. I don't have control of
Oh,
this
yeah.
situation, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
but
there's a difference between OCD and needing control. It's when it gets in the way of your life that it
mhm,
becomes a disorder.
yes.
Otherwise, it is simply control. Like I am picky about my nails.
Uh-huh.
I got really kind of cute nails. I really like them.
Mhm.
And if they didn't look right, it would really bother me,
Right.
really, really bother me, but it
Mhm.
wouldn't affect my life. It would just really annoy me.
Yeah.
And I would get it fixed at some other time, or I would fix it myself.
Mhm.
You know, it's when it gets in the way, like if every time I saw my hand, I would just shudder and I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do whatever,
Right.
then that's when it would become, for me, a disorder,
Right.
right? So, yeah, learning to control and then have workarounds for that control. You know what I mean?
Well, and I was just thinking that while you were talking, that there are a lot of things that don't necessarily affect my daily life, but
Hmm.
it may be because I've gotten so good at not letting them affect me
That's right.
because I have
Yes.
found ways around it, you know. So
Yep.
yeah. Ann Philbeck
Absolutely.
shared Philippians 4:6 for anxiety. Don't be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. That's a very good verse. Thank you for sharing that, Anne.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's been a journey, and it's been very eye opening, and I really think you have to be ready to look at some of those things in your past. And I've known about that I needed to work on it for years, but I was afraid to do it. I kind of was afraid of what I might figure out, but it just
Mm.
became an issue where I kept having this feeling like I don't even know who I am. I don't know
Hmm.
who I am, what I am. And so I had to look at that, you know. And I have found out
Yeah.
that there's a lot of things that I really truly believed about myself that really are not true. And that's
Wow.
a good thing to be able to now say, that's why that always was uncomfortable. That's why that always didn't sit quite right, because it really wasn't true. So
has it made a difference in how some things have been uncomfortable for you?
Things that, like, I'll just use meditation for an example. I've tried to meditate a lot of times, different kinds of meditations. And even at night, just trying to go to sleep sometimes, I could never get my brain to get off of whatever it was thinking, enough to just easily fall asleep. Nor could I really get into doing a meditation, because when my mind would wander, even though I knew I was supposed to be able to bring it back, I would like stop meditating and start thinking about whatever that thought, was. So I've been doing the healing your inner child meditation. And when the first couple times I did it, it was really difficult and I could hardly, get into it. But then it was like a switch got flipped. And it's like now when I prepare myself and say, okay, I'm going to do this now, and I'm okay with whatever comes up, and I'm going to let myself feel whatever I feel, it's like now I can get into it and stay into it and feel those feelings. And it's just totally different. And I'm really surprised, because I always thought, you're just somebody who can't meditate. That's not true. I can meditate. I just really need to have my mind prepared.
Yeah.
For what I'm going to do,
Right.
kind of thing.
You also then have to adjust perhaps your definition of what meditation is. Meditation, there's different types of meditation, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? There's transcendental meditation, where you're supposed to clear your mind of everything and just be in the state of nothingness.
Right.
I have a hard time with that concept in general.
Yeah.
So when I meditate, I will meditate on a subject, and I will simply sit there and I will think deeply about that subject.
Right.
And peel all the layers that I can. And it's that concentrated that's a different type of meditation.
Right. Well, with the inner child meditation, you do the first kind you talked about first, kind of, get rid of everything else. And then you focus in on trying to bring up those feelings of your inner child. And, I think a lot of people only think you have an inner child if you had problems, as a child. But we all have an inner child, regardless.
Absolutely.
It's part of our brain, actually.
Yes.
And so it's okay to acknowledge the fact that, hey, I do have an inner child. And some of the things that we liked or enjoyed as kids, society may have told us we can't do those things as adults, or we shouldn't do those things as adults. But that doesn't mean that you can't do anything. Like I'll use creativity as an example. As a kid, whatever you do, you're being creative. You're letting your imagination go and you're being creative. When you become an adult, sometimes you can't even get in touch with that imagination, yet alone your actual creative side to do anything. And so people say, well, you shouldn't do certain things because you're not a child. But on the other hand, sometimes even just to get stress level down, like Body Illusion and I did the other night, we did adult coloring.
Yes, I saw that.
2.5 hours, and we were both like,
I was lurking.
we were so relaxed and just having the best time,
Yes.
So you have to give yourself permission and say, you know what?
Absolutely.
If I want to do that, there's nothing wrong with that. I can do that. I think I missed a couple people. Norma K is here.
Norma is the newest one.
All right. Good. Oh, and Indigo mentioned something about grounding. Have you, and I know we're not on the topic you wanted to talk about, but have you heard about grounding, where you go outside barefooted and put your feet in the grass or the sand or the dirt?
I have, and literally just envelop in nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had never heard of that as anything, as anything.
Right.
And when I came across that and read that, I was like, that's one thing, when you're a kid, you play out in the dirt and,
Absolutely.
get
You make
dirty
those
and all
pies
that.
and you eat 'em.
And I never really let my daughter do that a whole lot. I was very protective, overprotective of her.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
but with my granddaughter, and now that, I do some gardening and plants and things, she has seen me play in the dirt, and so she likes to do it too.
That's
And
right.
and my daughter mentioned that the other day and said, you've really changed because you would never let me do the things that you let her do. And it's
That's
like,
right.
because I wasn't in touch with my inner child when I was
Right.
a mother, when my daughter was young. And it's actually helping me by able to kind of see things through how my granddaughter sees things and the things that my granddaughter is learning and experiencing and things like that. And it
Mhm.
makes you realize that, yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of trauma or abuse or neglect in your childhood to really kind of stop that growth in certain
Mhm.
areas. Because if you didn't experience it, it's very hard for you to relate to it as an adult, even.
Absolutely.
And you
Yep.
might see somebody or have a spouse or a good friend or somebody who's going through something, and you know it's like, I don't get it. I don't see why this
Mhm.
is a problem or whatever. And I think a lot of that is because maybe like my mom always said, you're too emotional. you know you shouldn't be so emotional. And so I tend to be like, I try to be more, not cold, but I'd like to keep my emotions more private. Like
More
if I was gonna,
reserved.
yeah. And it's like I cried one time on my live, and
Mhm.
I was like so embarrassed and ashamed that I actually got to that point that I cried, instead of being able to say how beautiful that was, that whatever happened brought me to tears,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
don't look at that differently, so.
Yep. We have Tiff who has come by and Mary. They are new in the chat right now. Nice
Okay.
to see you, my
Hello,
friends.
hello, ladies. I done lost the
Hello,
back of my
hello.
earring.
Oh no.
It's okay.
I have lots of extras
Oh, I
if you
have
want.
lots of
I mean,
extras too.
okay.
Have you heard about earthing,
The Earthing
earthling
movie.
movie and movement? I have not.
No, I have not. Okay, and whoops. Indigo is replying to Brian, who was talking about writing and putting their thoughts down and being able to just kind of really feel through the idea of getting it out. If I'm kind of putting
Yeah.
that correctly.
And healing through song. John is here too.
Yes,
Welcome.
and John,
Welcome.
hi John.
Um,
Glad you're here.
and that's the thing. I've always been a note taker.
Mm,
But now I'm doing a lot more just journaling, where I don't
mm-hmm.
necessarily have a subject in mind. I just, as I
Mm,
start thinking of things, I'm starting to write things down. And like
mm.
on my live the other day, I had like 10 pages, and I'm like, I'm going to find it because I wrote it down. It's like I'm writing everything down so I have it.
Yes,
But it's
yes,
funny
absolutely.
how that changes from just taking a note to remind myself to get something done. Now
Yep,
it's more of just, writing down what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking about. So yeah.
exactly. That's exactly right. Um, so I'm going to transition us into the topic, and we may not get through the whole thing. We might have to splice it into thirds because there are 9 fruits of the spirit, and
Yes.
doing 3 at a time I think might be easier bites.
Okay.
But to start out, we're going to watch a video, and it is on a website. There we go. Well, let me go to the video here. There. And it's from the website gotquestions.org.
Okay.
And it's a very simple, just a 3-minute video. It's a very simple description of what the fruits of the Spirit are and what their purpose is. So let's take a look at that.
Okay.
Tell me if you cannot hear.
Okay. I'm not hearing it.
You're not hearing it?
No.
Okay. So I may have to do it in this.
Hi, Ashley. Welcome.
Okay, so let's go to this. Let's go to that. And let's go to.
Hello, Blessed to Crochet. And that's Mary. And she's also Blessing Through Connections. If y'all
Yes.
haven't checked that out, go and check her out. She's doing, where people can meet other channels and subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're gonna try this and see if it does it.
Okay.
Okay, so can you hear that?
No.
No. Well, eventually I will get this working. Oh my word. Okay, so basically he says this. We're not going to watch the video because I can't get it to make sounds. I need to practice that somehow. Anyways, so the fruits of the Holy Spirit, there are 9 of them. Echo, can you tell me what some of them are?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question because I have 3 different versions of our translation of the Bible. And I was like, I want to just compare. And so I did that.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I don't know why, but I guess I was raised on the King James Version. So
was I.
What I pretty much go to. Love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
so what is another version that you have?
This is the New Living Translation.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I tend to go to.
And
just because explaining it to other people, it's an easier.
Yeah.
It's today's language. So
and
yeah.
It says love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And then in this one, which is the Amplified Bible.
Oh, these guys get all in there. Okay.
I was like, did I put a bookmark? I did save the page though. Okay. Okay, love, joy, peace, patience, and they, in parentheses, even tempered and forbearance is what they are saying patience is. Kindness, goodness, and in parentheses they have benevolence for goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, it says meekness, humility, and then they have self-control, self-restraint, which is, about the same thing.
And in the book of Timothy, it talks about not having a spirit of fear, but having a spirit of strength, something or other, and of a sound mind. And the other versions will say, and a spirit of self-control.
Yes.
So a sound mind. I cling to that one because my brain is not sound.
Right.
So I really, really try to go to that one. Do have the house to be frustrated long right now. Fair enough, Misha. Enjoy, go outside, splash some water on yourself or something, get cool off a little bit.
Definitely.
So yeah.
But I've been trying to learn scriptures, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I really kind of you know how certain scriptures, you might not know where exactly or what, the wording of it is, but
Yes.
when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yep.
But some of them that I'm hearing and coming across, are just worded differently enough that I'm going, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I now have the 3 different translations, because a lot of things are not in King James wording today.
Right.
So
right.
that's why I have the different translations, because it's really interesting to me. And words, to me, the words do matter.
They do. They really do.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I also enjoyed the New Living Translation is a friend of mine. One of her seminary professors was one of the people who translated the New Living Translation.
Okay.
So she is very confident, because I have confidence in her. I have secondhand confidence in this guy, that what is there is legit word for word translation. It is not idea for idea, which some Bibles are. The Amplified would be an idea for idea translation.
Mm-hmm.
But New Living is an actual translation. The King James is a translation, but it was fed into by the King of England. So he actually added and took away a couple of things. So that's where you get some discrepancies in, well, the King James says this, but this says this, but this says this.
And
so
I never realized either that you pretty much, when you're gonna like quote a scripture or put it in writing somewhere, you kind of need to say what translation you got it from.
Absolutely.
Because that would alleviate some of that going, what?
Exactly.
So,
so something that I do when I'm talking about scripture is I will talk about what the verses we're talking are, and then what is around it. So the context.
Yeah.
Because for me, context is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about the context of the fruit of the Holy Spirit, let's see if I can share this screen. Allow. There we go. So we are looking at verses 22 and 23. Those are the fruits of the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll notice in the beginning it says but.
Okay, it didn't share. I don't see it shared on the screen.
You don't see it shared on the screen? Oh, there we go. Add to stage. There we are. Okay. See, now if only I knew how to work my tools.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I'll get there eventually.
That may have been why you couldn't hear the guy, because I didn't put him on the stage to. Oh, okay.
That's why
we're not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I'm going to point out is it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, which is also patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. And the but comes from the acts of the flesh are obvious, and the fruits of the Holy Spirit are the opposite. Right? Mm-hmm. So verse 19, the acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and all the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God.
Right.
Now, keep in mind, God knows our heart, and you don't have to be in an orgy to be a person who lives in that lifestyle or lives in that mindset, right?
Right.
You don't have to be somebody who is grabbing all of our physical and material possessions to be somebody who is envious because you want all of those possessions and it bothers you to the core, much like the OCD thing, just
Right.
bothers you right to your core. And then he talks about the fruits of the Spirit. So when I think of the verse 3, love, joy, and peace, I like seeing those together. I don't think it's an accident that love is the first one.
Right.
What do you think? Yeah?
Well, because I think that is what God is love. And that is what
Absolutely.
he wants us to do is love. And
Mm-hmm.
I think people get hung up on, there's so many different types of love.
Yes.
And for me to say, Kim, I love you, does not
Yeah.
mean in a romantic kind of way,
Precisely.
and
Yeah.
I think people get hung up on that. And so, you might not be saying it to people that you truly do have a love for, because you don't want
Absolutely.
them to be like, oh my goodness, why does she love me?
Yeah.
But if you truly love God, you are supposed to love everybody. And in one of the Bible studies I go into, and I'm going to give her a shameless plug, Boldly Unshackled. We just recently talked about how, when somebody wrongs you,
Mm-hmm.
we want vengeance. We want revenge.
Oh, yeah.
We want, something to happen to that person.
Yep.
And sometimes when you give it to God and let God handle it, you may not see the
Yeah.
revenge.
God makes me so mad sometimes.
And
He
you're like,
doesn't do it
come
right.
on, and we were talking, like, for instance, like, say that you get a
Timing.
you get a divorce, or you break up with somebody, and then you see them on Facebook and they've got a new mate and they're going on vacations, and
Yep.
they're just doing all this stuff that they didn't do with you, and you think,
Yep.
man, why are they getting all these blessings and everything? But what you don't see is what they're actually dealing with in their life. You have to
Exactly.
realize, especially on Facebook, people put on there what they want you to see. They don't put
That's right.
everything on there. And I had always, even though I was done with somebody, I would still be interested, like curious, like, what are they
Mm-hmm.
doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I never really understood why I felt like that until that Bible study. And I said, that's exactly what it is. I don't care and don't want them in my life, but I don't want them happy in their own life either. I want to see that they're being punished,
Yeah. Oh, I get
and
that.
but that's for God to do. God will
Yes, that's
handle
right.
those people in his own way and in his own time. And it's really none of our business. So
Mm-hmm.
the love part of it comes into, even though they are now what you would think as your enemy, you're still supposed to love that person and wish them
Yes.
well and want good things for them, because that's
Yes.
what God tells us to do. And it's hard to do that,
It
you know,
is. It really
especially,
is.
and like the thing, like with my mom and everything, one of the biggest things I had to do was I had to forgive what happened. Okay. I'm never going to forget it. I don't
Right.
condone it. I would never do it to anyone I loved. However, I don't know what was going on with her, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I can't go back and change what she did or what
Right.
happened. And the only way I can not let it have power over me and not let me dwell upon that part of my past is to forgive and let it go. Okay.
Yeah.
very hard when you think, but they did this and they did that, and how can I
Yeah.
forget that, you know?
It's the yabbits.
Yeah. And after a while, you have to realize that, you know, everything is not going to be wonderful and great. And, but if you
Mm-hmm.
hang on to that, wanting revenge, or, you know, feeling like you didn't get that apology, or you didn't
Yeah,
get closure or something like that, it drives you crazy. It beats
it
you up.
does.
It
It
doesn't hurt
does.
the other person one bit. They
Nope.
could care less about you. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're still connected to that other person,
Yeah.
even if it's just in your mind, that your mind goes there. So what I've been doing is praying, you know, God, stop me when I do this. When I go there and I say, I wonder, tell me it's none of my business and redirect me to think about something else.
Excellent.
Because that's what I would do. I would sit
Yeah.
there and I would go over in my head all the reasons I don't like this person, all
Oh,
these bad things
exactly.
they did, you know. What is God going to do to them? It's like, why do I not see that somebody is punishing them? That
Yeah.
is punishing me. I'm taking on what I want them to have.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's probably blocking me from enjoying my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to be able to say, you know, it's okay. And I say
Yeah.
on my in my healing series, I say it, you know, we're not here to blame the
Mm-hmm.
person that hurt us, but I believe in God, and I believe God will deal with that person.
That's
Just as
right.
He takes
Yep.
care of us and deals with us, He'll deal with them. So
That's right. And it's not in our time, it's in his time. And that is the perfect. And that's what I have to remember is when we're talking about timing for joy. Oh God, I wish I could have babies now. Well, maybe you shouldn't have babies now.
right,
God, I wish I could have a loving partner now. Well, maybe the partner you need isn't ready for you yet,
right,
right?
right.
Like just there's so many things on timing and stuff like that that it's really a lot. It's really a lot to process if you actually consider all of the dimensions
Well,
rather
and
than simply,
what I do too is I think, well, because I haven't seen the answer to the prayer, it's obviously no, because I would have seen it if it was a yes. But it may just be a not right now.
or not
And
where you can see.
yeah, and that's what's hard, is to set, you know, be able to, and we talked about this in Boldly Unshackled too, how you can take your problems and lay them at God's feet and say, okay, I cannot do anything with this. I'm giving it to
Hmm.
you. And then when nothing happens, or you don't think anything happens, in a little while longer, you go back and you pick it up again. And you say, well,
Exactly.
let me just work on this some more. Maybe I can get this
God,
time, you
you
know?
need help here, God.
Yeah,
Let me help.
yeah. And of course, God's not going to help you if you're going to keep coming back and picking it back up. So you have to learn to
That's
just, okay, that I release. I'm no longer worried about that, whatever it is, you know.
right.
But yeah,
Hmm.
the waiting thing is the hard part, because I just normally think, you know, because like even with my daughter when she was little, if I didn't want to say yes or no, I would say we'll see. And
Oh
she
yeah,
learned real
which was
quick
always a
that
no.
we'll see means no. And she's
That's
like,
right.
Mama, why don't you just say no? Well, because I said we'll see, because I might.
So the next fruit is peace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, joy.
Sure.
Love, joy, peace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next one is joy. Um, when you think of joy, hello, Big Boss Lady T. Nice to see
Oh,
you.
hi,
Glad you're
Big Boss
here.
Lady T. Welcome. Let me get you some
Um,
butterfly wings. There you go.
nice.
Okay.
So when you think of love and joy, what does joy look like to you?
Well, this is one I've worked on for a long time, because, you know, I believe
Mm,
happiness is a choice. And I think that, you know, we
hmm.
can choose to be happy. And joy to me is like complete, utter happiness, no matter what the circumstances are.
Okay.
That I am joyful because I know that God loves me. And it doesn't matter what I have materially, or, I'm not waiting for something to happen to make me happy. I'm not waiting for, to win the lottery or, whatever. I can be happy just where I'm at. And that, to me, that is feeling joy. It's not connected to anything external.
Okay. So what do you feel about depression and times when you cannot connect to the happiness? Like you said, it's unbounded happy. So what happens when you can't connect to your happiness?
Well, now, in the midst of a situation, of a circumstance, that's right. It may make you sad or depressed. And sometimes you can't find that joy right there in the moment. Sometimes you have to, wait until you figure out what's going on, and then all of the bad things, not bad things, but all of the things that in my life that caused me to be sad or depressed, after they were over and done with, I could look back and say, oh, here's the silver lining. Here's the positive thing that came out of that situation that would not have come out of that situation had that situation not happened to me. So
yeah, I agree.
Then I can find the joy in it, but sometimes not right, when it happens.
And that's where I personally draw a distinction between joy and happy. Happy is, in my brain, happy is the feeling. Joy is the choice. So I take joy in the hope of God, the hope that it's not done until God's done with it, right? And yes, Big Boss Lady T, finding the positive out of something, again, that is a part of my joy that I'm choosing, even though I'm not feeling the feeling of it, right?
Crystal said joy can exist without happiness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I have found. The last time I was in a deep depression, I went to a therapist who was a Christian therapist. At least that's what the sign said on the door. And she's like, oh, you must have lost all hope. You, like, all of these things have gone wrong and all of this stuff is like all over you. You must have totally lost hope. And I'm like, no, I haven't lost hope at all. I haven't lost hope. Hope is the only thing keeping me alive.
Exactly.
Right? And so for her not to understand that really concerned me with her practice.
Yeah.
So yeah, having to have joy, and joy happens to be my middle name. Just saying.
Oh, okay, good.
But it's one of those things that to me, it's the choice versus the feeling. Yeah, that's where my brain goes with that. So love, joy, peace. Okay, so what is the word that is used in the original languages for peace? What would that be? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. So the word is shalom.
Shalom. Okay.
Shalom. That's not what I want. I do not want a human being. I want the word shalom. Okay, so shalom. Are you seeing the page that I'm looking at here?
Yes.
Okay, so shalom is peace. And that would have been the word that the Hebrews would have used in those days, is shalom. In its core, shalom means to a state of harmony and tranquility within and in your relationships. But it also means absence of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So, like if you are angry at an ex, for example, or your children have done something that's absolutely frustrated you, you are no longer in shalom. You're no longer in that harmony and tranquility. It's a blessing of well-being. It's an expression and name. It's just one of those things where exact meaning of shalom. No, that's not what I want to say. That I used to do. Oh, come on. Don't be a pain in the neck. I used to do a painting of shalom, and it was it would be just kind of a whatever background. And then I would write the word shalom, and then I would write it in Hebrew in the bottom. It's very pretty in Hebrew. And then I would just, with a pen marker, I would just write down what all the words, and there's like 15 of them.
Oh, okay.
Of what shalom
Mm-hmm.
means.
Mm-hmm.
And it means not only are you happy, you're joyful, but you have peace, you have enough food, you can give to others, you are in a state of forgiveness, like all of these things. And that's the third thing that they're talking about is shalom, this deep, rich word versus what we in the English language have just dissected it into, because we don't have the depth
that
in our
means
language.
Yeah. Hi, pre-retirement days. Welcome.
Hello.
To me, peace is something that I can let other people diminish.
Mm-hmm.
I can try to have peace, but sometimes I let other people's wants, needs, worries, whatever, kind of diminish that peace, because how can I truly be happy when I know this person is suffering or without or whatever like that is. But
yeah,
I do think that the peace can be, just sometimes you have a lot of inner conflict going on within yourself. And
exactly.
like with me, before I started working on my inner child, I didn't have real peace because I knew that was there. I knew that was something that I would have peace if I could get rid of that, if I could work on that. And I think that's why, as much as I feel like I have a better understanding of myself and maybe why I do things that I do. But I think a lot of it is that I am getting that peace, that I'm starting to feel that as I'm releasing some of that tension,
That's excellent.
And that's one thing. I mean, I've always, and I've said that before, I'm not going to argue with you because I want peace.
Yes.
It's like,
it's not worth the fight.
You can do what you want to do, but for me,
exactly.
I'm not going to buy into that because I'm going to keep my peace. I want to be peaceful. And sometimes people don't want you to do that. They want to disrupt things.
Oh yeah.
Or distract you from what you,
or they have to be right even when they're not, right? And it's just not worth the fight. You explain all you want that, the letter I comes before E except after C, and then you have weird neighbor, like all of these things is not peaceful. English grammar sucks.
Well,
but
when I went to school to learn accounting, accounting is very much so a set of rules.
Yes.
This is how you do it. This goes here and this goes there. This is an asset. This is a debt, and you can't logically explain it. Hello, John, 4 Cat Billy's in a Virginia mountain shack. That's my number one all time member. Welcome,
All
John.
right.
Um,
Hello, John.
but
Nice to meet you. Glad you're
you
here.
you can't look at accounting logically and say, okay, tell me why that is an asset and not a liability, or it's like there's so many things that are just, this is the way it's been set up, this is how it is. And so it's very difficult to argue with somebody who's telling you, when you do double entry bookkeeping, this is how you do it, and it was hard for me to just accept, okay, this is how I have to do it, because I wanted to know why. I wanted to understand.
I'm a why kind of girl. Yeah,
I wanted to be able to logically explain it,
I agree.
and that was like one of the biggest lessons I ever learned, that there are just some things you don't have to be right. Your opinion is exactly that, your opinion. Somebody else could be just as right about their opinion. It just differs from yours, and that's perfectly okay. But I used to kind of be that, I'm going to be right. I'm going to find out, I'm going to prove to you. I
Yeah.
will get the facts and I will prove to you. And I had somebody tell me one time, why do you always have to have it proved? Why can't you just believe what somebody tells you? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm like that. There are some people, I think, that are just that blindly believe whatever anybody tells them. And then
Yes.
there's people that question things and want to understand things and have it explained. And I'm less like that now than I used to be. I used to be a
Mm.
real stickler when it came to, especially if it was something I didn't believe the person was telling me the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if just,
Yeah.
how sometimes something just won't sit right with you, and you'll be
Yep.
like,
Absolutely.
that just doesn't
But
sound
just the
right.
math isn't math in here.
It's like,
Yeah.
I know you believe what you're telling me is true. I know that you believe it, but I'll need some facts for me to
Yeah.
believe. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I don't even believe the facts, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Amira
wow. Okay.
Rogers, I'm currently even working on a painting. And then I came on YouTube and this popped up today on my suggested. I'm currently in a metamorphosis type of season. So, hello. Glad I found y'all. Well, welcome,
Hello.
welcome, welcome. And she's doing a butterfly painting. You are in the
Awesome.
right place. I
Are
am
you
all about
ever?
the butterflies.
Oh yes. Oh, that's awesome. Welcome here. Nice to see you. I'm glad you found us. It looks like you have found Echo's page, Kaleidoscope of Happiness.
Yes.
Um, I'm hoping somewhere on her chat
I have
is
it
my
posted
link
at
as
the top
well.
of my chat.
There
Your
we
link.
go. Pinned at the top of her chat is my link as well.
Yes.
And we are both women of God. We are both women who have been and continue to be in metamorphosis.
Yes.
We just we don't, or at least I, and I'm certain it echoes the same, I don't find joy and peace in stasis, like
No.
in just staying the way it is. No, you have to grow, you have to move. And the idea of a butterfly, just butterflies fascinate me. First of all, it's a worm. It's this awful little larva, and then it's a worm that eats leaves and destroys things, and then it turns into a piece of goo. It literally breaks down into goo, and there's no legs, there's no wings, there's no face, there's no mouth, there's no nothing until just the right time. And then God's like, whoosh, and there it has to come out as a butterfly.
Um,
So,
I have a book that is the Very Hungry Caterpillar. I don't know if you're familiar with
yes.
that children's book. My
Yep.
granddaughter had me read it to her yesterday, and it talks about how here's the little egg on the leaf, and then the caterpillar, and then he's so hungry and he eats and eats and eats, and then he goes to sleep in the cocoon, and then he comes out a beautiful butterfly.
Yep.
And I definitely feel like I've been in my cocoon way too long, and
Yeah.
I'm just getting to where I'm going to be that beautiful butterfly. Amaya said there was an earlier post. Her first post said, "So I'm a music artist, and the Lord has
Yes.
been calling me to create, and the word kaleidoscope is a thing between us, as well as butterflies. And every day lately, He's been showing me butterflies." Yes. Now,
Absolutely.
and I don't know if you knew this or not, but Miss Body Illusion sent me a kaleidoscope.
Ooh,
This is
pretty.
it's made out of tin, so it's
Right.
gonna last, and it is just absolutely gorgeous in there when you look through it. But that the kaleidoscope, I do it for two reasons. One, because a group of butterflies is called a kaleidoscope. And
Yes.
two, because I believe that we're all a little bit broken, but we all can
Absolutely.
shine. We're all bright pieces of glass. And if you put all those bright pieces of glass together, makes a beautiful mosaic. And that's a
Hmm.
kaleidoscope. So,
That's right.
and God gave me all of that when I had my fall. Um, and I had to kind of take some time off, like you have taken some time off.
Yeah.
And I was kind of at a crossroads, didn't know where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do with my channel. And God said, slow down, take a break. I'll show you what you need to do. And
Exactly.
I mean, it has changed. It has definitely changed my direction, my
Hmm.
focus, everything.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
if you're in a crossroads and you want to have a transformation in your life, just pray about it. Because God is
Absolutely.
He's willing, ready, and able to take you through that journey. It's just a
Yep.
matter of you being ready to do it.
Yes. And will we ever be ready? Probably not entirely, because we have no idea what it is that God wants to do for us. We just have to be willing, to take that ride. It can be
Amaya says
scary.
she's a teacher and her kids love that book.
Yes.
My daughter teaches third grade math and science, so we have that in common as well. So yes,
Yay!
you are definitely in the right place. And now we have
No
someone,
doubt. Oh, that's
V
awesome.
Rose. Let me look at your channel, V. Hello, V Rose. Very beautiful girl. Welcome, welcome. I'm just taking screenshots and I'll come back and look at your all's channels
Sure.
because I
Uh,
don't want to miss anybody. And I will give you
so John
butterfly wings.
Laws plays music, loves all the critters in his yard. He wants to be semi-wild I want it to be semi-wild for the wildlife. Good job. I've planted so many butterfly attractive plants. It's the same type of plants that you would attract for bees, like the pollen,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. So important to have. So important.
This little tiny country town I live in has a honeybee festival every year, and there's a lot of
Cool.
a lot of beekeepers that make a lot of local honey. And but
Ah,
actually, between where I live and the grocery store is a big open field, and they plant all kinds of wildflowers in there for the bees.
yes.
And it'll
Yep.
have a sign and it'll say, for the pollinators, it's like, don't mess with our wildflowers over here, people.
That's right. Actually, if I were to have an acreage, that's exactly what I would do. I wouldn't have a front lawn. I would have a wildflower meadow. And I would have maybe a path, like a cement path, so you could walk through it. But it would be just for the love of color and joy and variety and all of that. That gives me joy. Even when
Cool.
I'm not feeling it, it changes the chemistry of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Reading The Hungry, Hungry Caterpillar can change the chemistry of your brain because it is a reminder of how things change even when you're not trying, right?
Right. Right. Hello,
So,
weekend with
yeah.
me. Good to see you. Um,
Hello.
Amaya said that
So
Everything's
much
been coming
confirmation.
full circle and so much confirmation. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And isn't that a beautiful thing when you've been, praying about something or, trying to follow where he wants you to go, what he wants you to do, and then all of a sudden you get confirmation of it, and then it's just like, okay, okay,
Yeah,
I'm on the right track.
exactly.
Good, 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 good,
Exactly.
good. Um, I have found my friend Tia, her channel is Boldly Unshackled, and
Mm-hmm.
she has started a sisterhood movement. Um, and she's a licensed therapist. She doesn't
Mm-hmm.
offer therapy on YouTube,
Good.
but we talk a lot about healing and very, very much based on the Bible and based on God's word. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but she put out a challenge this morning that I think there's probably 20 of us that are in this sisterhood right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I would love to see it grow to 100 by the end of the year. And it is
Mm-hmm.
growing. It's growing every day. And so I said, okay, if there's 20 of us, that's only 5 people each that we
Mm-hmm.
need to tell about.
That's
So
right.
if anybody is looking for a sisterhood, and that is something that, I've always thought I was missing out on. I didn't go to a college where I went and was like in a sorority,
Right.
or anything like that. And even when Norma and I started her channel, Real Life Happens, that was like our main focus was we want to help other women enjoy their lives. So
Mm.
it's kind of like I've been searching for a sisterhood for a long, long time. And when I
Awesome.
stumbled upon Tia's channel, it was like God immediately was saying to me, okay, look what's here. Check this
Mm-hmm.
out. And I like immediately asked her, do you go on other people's channels? Will you come and talk on my channel? How do I get in touch with you and all that?
Give her
And
my information. I'd love to talk to her.
yes, I will. And anyway, it has been something that I've been saying, okay, this is an answer to a prayer, that I've been looking for this.
Wonderful.
And there's no judgment. Everyone is welcome. We're all
Mm-hmm.
shapes, sizes, colors.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is welcome. And the feeling of acceptance, you know. And when you
Mm-hmm.
truly love the Lord, you can love on other people and you don't have to
Yeah.
be the same as them and they don't have to be the same as you.
Actually,
And
it's more fun if they're not.
yeah, and just to know that there are people that are all over the world here on YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't say it right, but
Yep. You said it
Paraguay.
right. Yeah. Or
One
Paraguay.
of
Yep.
one of the ladies in the group is working for the Peace Corps, and she is in
Wow.
Paraguay. And I'm like,
Cool.
I just want to pick her brain, I just
No
want to talk
doubt.
to her about it. So
Exactly.
it's really good. V Rose is asking, how do you join? You can email me. My email address is on my page, and I will get you the information and let you come and check it out. She does a morning motivation Monday through Thursday about 8:15 Eastern time for about 45 minutes. Um, but it's about God, but it's also about having some support
Mm-hmm.
from other women. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know if you've experienced it, but I've been in situations before where women can be very catty and,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Try working in a hair salon.
yeah.
You know.
And they're nice to your face and stabbing you in the back at the same time. And
That's
there's
right.
none of that. This is all about helping each other heal, helping each other,
Wonderful.
um, you know, make it through this life. And we
Yep.
do feel like, it is our mission that, we let other people know that it is
Mm-hmm.
available. It is out there. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll hush about that. That's my little plug.
No, that's a wonderful combo. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Um,
Mhm.
like I said, working in a hair salon, you'll find people stabbing you in the back. But I've also met some of my best longtime friends working in hair salons. So working with other staff we just bonded so well. One particular salon was just amazing. The next salon I worked at was toxic. So yeah, it just depends where you are.
And you can definitely tell the difference, you know.
You ever.
Once you've been
Yep.
through that a couple of times, you're like, okay, I see you. I know what kind of person you are. Okay.
That's right.
You know.
Yep. And unfortunately, my ankle is aching a lot. So I'm going to go take some Tylenol, and we're going to stop for this evening.
Okay.
So we talked about the first three fruit. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have you on every time to talk about the fruit, or if I'm going to talk to different people.
Okay.
I'm leaning toward different people. Get different
points of view would be good.
Points of view. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then other surrounding. Yeah, I'm just thinking this through. Like I said earlier, I'm finally back. Just we'll see how it goes.
Just let it come. It will come, and you will know exactly what you're supposed to do. Just let it come.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being my first guest back.
Well, thank you.
I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
So everybody have an awesome day. Find some shalom in your life.
Yeah.
Find some joy, even if you're not feeling the happy. Find the peace, love. And love is more than just romantic. You know, you really can just love that piece of pizza. Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
All righty. I'll talk to you later, folks. Love y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Some come with scars, some come with dreams. In this circle, we're more than what we seem. No judgment here, just voices to be heard. Through laughter, through the tears, we find every word. I'm my brother's keeper, I'm my sister's guide. Standing here together, with nothing left to hide. We lift each other up when the world feels torn apart. We're keepers of the flame, we're the healers of the heart.